I kind of see that what John and Finch are doing is kind of maybe pulling her to do it full time. I mean, am I on the right track there with that?
For her to be in uniform?
No, to kind of leave and work with them.
Actually, she learned from the best. She learned from her angel, Reese. And she has a bone to pick with HR. HR has killed a few people that she really care about, and they're the reason why she's in the uniform. She's doing a lot of the stuff rogue, like Reese and Finch. I think at the episode you guys have probably seen so far don't know that she has Elias hidden somewhere, right? We haven't, right? So I honestly don't think that they would be too happy about that, but again, she learned from the master.
Because in some ways she almost seems like she's back. I mean, when the show started, she was very much alone in some ways.
Yes.
And to a degree, you only really saw when she was with her son, when she completely opened up as a character. And now she feels like she's very much like in a corner on her own in a way that she was at the beginning.
Yeah, pretty much all the characters are like that. They're loners, and that's why they work so well together, because they understand how to move in that space. Again, Carter, she's good down to the core, and she wants good. If there's anything she can do to right a wrong situation, she'll do it. And I think that's why the audience loves her, because at the end of the day, if you want the truth, you look to Carter, because she'll give it to you. She's the last of a dying breed, I'll say.
Now, I mean, after the end of last season, I mean, the show has been kind of, I don't want to say it's been relaunched, but the third season sets it up in a familiar situation, but a very new situation. I mean, how conscious were you of doing that, and where did you want to take it?
Well, certainly we knew moving nights, moving time slots, it's always difficult. The show becomes a little bit vulnerable, but we wanted to bring in new viewers to the show. So there was a certain amount of resetting here. So like, what do these characters do? And we had the two opening action vignettes where you see Shaw with Chappie, with Fusco. And then Carter comes upon Reese after the car crash, and so like, who are these characters? And we see her walk up in the uniform. It's like there was a little bit of resetting there, reminding the audience where everyone was at. And I think the difficult part of doing a show on broadcast television is that you want to be able to tell standalone stories, but we also want to tell a larger serialized arc. And so if we can do the resetting within the drama itself, great, as opposed to everyone trying to watch a recap, because my understanding is people just tune out when the recaps come on. You want to be able to tell that bigger story, and that's the kind of show we are. And but we want everybody on board. We never want to be a show that totally alienates new viewers, because then if people can't figure out what's going on, we'll never get new viewers. So it's a delicate balance. It's a delicate balance between the standalone and the serialized.
Have you sort of plotted out what goes on years from now, and you're sort of keeping
we know the way the show ends.
And how much of it? Oh, it hasn't.
Yeah.
Well, and how much of that sort of gets improvised as you go along, like adding more rooms, like having shots?
Certainly. Like we said, like, we get an actor we love, or someone that pops. I mean, love working with Clark Peters. Taraji has amazing scenes coming up. You guys are going to see with her and Clark Peters. You just get a character. Robert John Berg, I think, was cast for one episode, and then we were like, we gotta have this guy back. And he's so great. Like every time that guy comes on screen, he's got that mug, and he's so threatening. It's so funny because he mentioned to me, as well as Amy, they're like the sweetest people around, and then people stop on the street and they're like, she's like, I remember some woman on the subway ran into Amy and said something like, "Don't you try to iron me." So I was like, Amy's like a Disney, just like Snow White.
She
like,
is.
So it's a lot of fun. When people pop like that, we try to bring them back and develop further storylines for them.
I think that's why she plays, because she's personally my favorite character, because she's the bad guy you love to hate, and that's very difficult to play. That's that's a fine line to walk, and she does it effortlessly, and I just love watching her. She's really good, and because she's so sweet.
Yeah.
She plays. That's why you love that woman is cuckoo, but she does it so well. But then you wonder, is she crazy or am I crazy? She makes you question your own sanity.
A machine is talking to her. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And that's a whole nother element. When the machine called up John and Finch, it was John on the phone. And when he started talking to him, I said, "Well, this show just went in a whole other direction.
Yeah.
This is not a police procedural."
No, not at all. Never was.
You can't really put that back in the box.
No, definitely.
I think it was mentioned recently that there are several flashbacks that have already been shot. They're in the can. What's the thought about doing that? And is there a flashback that we haven't seen yet that you just can't wait for us to see?
I think there's some flashbacks coming up with Taraji's character that we're going to find out about her personal past. We've never met the father of her child. I think it's a really important storyline in terms of understanding who she is and how she got where she is today. We also shot some material with Michael Emerson, Harold Finch, his character, some background stuff, but we just jam so much into these episodes that sometimes we wind up having to cut it. We're going, man, we shot those. The great thing was Richard Lewis, who used to be our producer director, shot those, and he's coming back to direct an episode. So we're going to use the same material in his episode coming up. So I'm really excited about having him there.
So is there a flashback that you can't wait for us to see? Get some insight into Carter?
I'm just, yeah. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but yeah, I can't wait for you to see it. Trust me, it'll blow you away.
It'll blow you away like that bartender.
No, you'll empathize with her, and you'll understand how she's become who she is and how she operates. You'll have a better understanding for who Carter is.
I sympathize already. I mean, she's been through a lot.
Yeah.
It's been her art getting exposed to the whole thing that John and Finch are doing. She has a moral line that she has to walk. That's got to to play. That's got to be really.
It is a lot of fun. It's tough though, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just like I said, it's just great to be on the show. I say this over and over again, where you just can totally trust the writers. I mean, I totally trust them. I just jump in with my eyes closed and I don't even worry because I know that they have every character's best interest at heart. They really do. And the stuff that they come up with.
I'm going to have to pay Taraji.
It's just hard, I've been doing this for over a decade, and I've received some pretty shitty scripts, and especially on television, stuff that's sort of like bubblegum. It's and when I got the script, you got to remember in the pilot, Carter was barely in it, but I just knew that it was something special. I was like, whoa, people aren't ready for this, and I at that time I had no idea where the show was going and all of these incredible ideas. All I know is when I received that restricted red secret script that was hand delivered to me, I had to sign for it. I feel like, what am I signing here? But it's just been a great journey. It really has a great. And I love to do feature films, but I feel like I'm shooting a feature every week.
And I have
exactly
to say,
what it feels like.
I'm so grateful to our actors because we give them so little sometimes, and they fill in the lines with things. Like I remember the first scene Taraji did in the pilot with Jim, where she sits down with his character and she says, and the way she's talking to him, you feel like she knows him or she knows someone just like him. And she made all those connections right up front, and it sort of became like a special relationship in the show that's continued. And I was reminded of it again this week on the set when I came in.
That was cool.
It was really cool. And I got a little chill. I also had like flashbacks because shooting the pilot was a nightmare. It snowed, it hailed, everything broke. It was awful.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I can't believe the thing's still on the air. It's great, and these guys are awesome in that they're willing to take that leap and accept that and say, you know what, there's a gray area in my character that I'm not sure about. It's still ambiguous to me, but it doesn't limit them. And we've been really sparse with defining Carter's backstory, and I think it's something we want to get into this year, and I think it'll be really rewarding.
I know that you say that pretty much where you want the story to go. But have you come across times where there's something about the actor that kind of takes you in a direction with a character that,
Yeah, like
you didn't
Carter being a
expect?
single mother. Did my life influence that at all? I always
that ever
wondered
even
that.
came up.
I always wondered that. I was like,
I mean,
wow.
I didn't even know that about you when we met. And I
I
think,
guess you did. No.
no. Yeah, I don't even remember that coming up. I don't know why. Yeah.
And like you're staying with your grandmother today. That's like, this sounds like something I would say.
I wrote that. I was like, so what do you do if like you're a cop and you're a single mom? And like, what do you do? Like, I even thought about that scene coming up with Fusco. I'm like, how's he going to go out? He's got a kid. How does that work? I mean, you always got to have childcare, I guess, but it's hard, And I think this sort of, it speaks more to the strength of Carter's character to understand that she could juggle all that and handle that. It just makes her that much stronger of a character. I always sort of saw your character as kind of the compass on the show. So she's actually, you've actually up to this point been the least gray character in terms of understanding where she's coming from and what she believes about right and wrong. Whereas like Reese has done some stuff.
Yeah.
And but what's becoming very interesting about her character now is that in the vendetta that she has against HR is putting her out on a limb, and you got Elias in a basement somewhere. We would never have seen that from Carter, I think, in the first season. It's just she's been doing some desperate things.
Desperate time calls for desperate measures.
Well, I was going to say, like, as part of that grayness, do you think part of her, the way she's sort of alone, the way she doesn't ask for help, the way she's going out of her way, is part of that sort of, does she feel like she's betrayed herself the way she saved Elias? That as much as she's been backed into a corner, she also made a choice that deviated from.
I think Carter's very clear on everything she's doing. I don't think she questioned any of her motives. Once she decided this has to be, this has to happen, she went for it. You got to understand, underneath it all, it's the right thing to do. Maybe she's going about it in a not so, legal way, but it's something that must be done. Because in her heart of all hearts, this is where she met the man in the suit. He's taught her sometimes you got to bend the rules to save a life, and at the end of the day, she's a cop to the core, and she's going to save a life no matter what, by any means necessary.
She did it for the right reason.
She did it for the right reason, and also she was pushed. I mean, she's like an animal backed into a corner. She's coming out fighting,